Good morning, everybody. Welcome back Sunday. Sunday's live stream now. We're just kind of a workbench project, but mainly focusing on keeping up with your guys' comments, trying to read as many as possible and answer as many questions as possible. Hope you guys were all having a good Sunday. Today, we're going to do a little bit of soldering. This is the undercover drag wings carbon fiber Renegade chassis that I assembled couple weeks back on a Friday night stream, but after doing the switch over from my DR10 to the undercover drag wings chassis, the wires going to my RS Pro Black and to reach my battery, not long enough. So we need to do that. But I'm going to take the opportunity to try out another new soldering iron I got. Now this is similar to the one you guys have probably seen me use in the past, but I'm putting together kind of a travel tool set. And I wanted to have one that I could keep in that and one that I could keep with me. So I got this one from a company. I linked it in the description below. And this is another one of those, we've called them TS100 styles in the past, but this is the soldering iron. Now this kit comes with several different tips. The one that I had previously did not. So it's got like a real fine point tip, kind of a weird hook tip, kind of chisel tip, number of different ones. So this is what I will be trying today. Now, the reason these things are nice for travel is that they will run off of a regular LiPo battery, 3S or 4S without a problem. On 4S, they heat up super fast. And you don't actually have to have a power station or anything like that. So you can just run it that way. It is super nice. But when you're in the shop, I don't want to run it on a battery. So I also picked up their AC adapter. So you can plug it into the wall. That's what we'll be using today because I don't feel like using batteries. So we'll see how this thing works. I like the other version that I have. Sorry for the noise. Hopefully you guys are all having a good morning. We'll see. Oh, sorry, I had to reload my chat. Duplicate that. All right, we are getting fired up. All right, so that's the plan. I'm going to remove most of the wires on my RS Pro Black and go from there. That's going to be kind of my starting point. Hopefully you guys can check in where you're coming from. I know we're doing the streams earlier in the morning now. Oh, there it is. Thought I was missing a cord. Snowing here in Missouri. Oof. Nicole didn't get her gas. Yes, Nicole did not snuff me out to be able to buy her gasser. Still maintain that I do not like gassers. So these little soldering irons, now these things aren't going to have the power of a big soldering station. And I've got a track power soldering station that I've had for years and years and years, but I really like the convenience of these type of soldering irons. So honestly, it's pretty much what I've been using now for quite a while. One of these, you can pick up these little soldering stands for, I think this thing was like under 10 bucks on Amazon. So also a nice companion to have alongside of your soldering iron if you don't already have one. It's definitely better than these little chintzy included stands. Granted, I'll probably keep that in here just because, like I said, this is going to go in a travel toolbox setup that I'm putting together. And so that's the plan there. And we're going to go with this kind of thin chisel tip to start with. Now I would switch to my overhead camera, but I'm still having freezing problems with that and it's driving me nuts. So we're going to stay with mainly the forward camera today. Put that in there. Tip is just held in there by what looks like a 2mm screw, maybe a 3mm, I'm not sure. So these type of soldering irons are what's called open source. So I just plugged it in. It's already at 200 degrees Celsius, 300. It's already full heat. Just they're instantly hot. It's crazy. And then you can adjust it up to 400, which is where I usually keep it just because I crank that thing. Brian Sherwood, thank you, sir. Get up earlier and answer your email. Oh, yeah. I did not check emails at all yesterday. So now what I would like to do is set my default heat. But I'm going to show you guys this one more time just because I'm going to unplug this and let it cool all the way back down. And then I'll plug it back in and show you guys just how hot that thing gets so quickly. It's so much nicer than a regular soldering iron. Is that the one-up soldering iron? So it's not. But like I was saying, these are open source basically, which means that you can get these exact same soldering irons from a ton of manufacturers, and you can like update the firmware with different people's custom firmware. I don't know that I've ever had the desire to update the firmware on my soldering iron, but you can do it if you like. I'm going to just make sure that this cools down, and then I'll show you guys on camera how quick that thing goes. So, but until then, I'm going to stutter. Let's answer some questions. Perfect timing doing the wiring on my VS410 Pro. Nice. That was a little bit easier than I think. I mean, not much different, but so yeah, I get you. Brian Sherwood, sorry, had to do. -35 to -40 here in Canada. What is it? Isn't it negative? Is it -40 degrees Celsius that is the same in Celsius and Fahrenheit? Something like that. Super cold no matter where you are. Doesn't really matter because it's just that cold. Yesterday I was running my bomber in the creek and snapped a metal Vanquish axle housing in half and bent the Yeti axle. I'd be interested to see it. I don't think I've ever seen a bomber housing break. Interesting. Greetings from Finland. What's going on? Thank you for joining. The firmware update allows higher temp limit. Eureka is mentioning that's an interesting thing. I've never thought about, like, this thing goes to 400 max at the stock firmware, I guess. So I guess going higher could be useful. It'd be nice to, I guess, have the headroom if you wanted it. So that's a good tip. And an interesting point that, something, like I said, I've never updated the firmware on one of these things. So, okay. So it's cool. So I'll do that. I'll turn it on. There we go. So you can see, I think it'll probably go to 300 because I think that's the default temperature right now. But there you go. That's full heat, just which is so nice when you're ready to solder. You're just like, okay, I'm ready to solder. I want to do it. You turn it on and it's done. So I've changed the default on my other one, and I just have to remember how I did it on this one. Oh, I think, yeah. So anyway, is that a square? It's a, I linked it in the description below because I don't 100% remember what the name of it is, but it's linked down there. You can find where I got it because it shipped in like, I don't know. I had it in a day after ordering it, basically, it seems like. I know they're not too far from me, but we need to pin the tip. The Banggood one's comparable. Honestly, these things, like I said, they're all very similar. They're using the same firmware, things like that. Problem with Banggood is that if you order it from there, you'll get it in, 90 days. So, but you can get them on Amazon as well. They're definitely not as I don't think they were as cheap as this one. Like this one I picked up because the price was better, and it, like I said, they're all so similar that scared me. Thought I was going to touch myself. Just knocking that wire. I grabbed a pair of pliers even for it. Bang good. 3 years later shows up. Exactly. Square. Yeah, I don't know how you say that. Is that a TS100 version? There is a TS100 version and a 65. But, and that's the other thing is like people use different names as well. So it's like, I have my other one is a TS100. And it was actually called a TS100. This one, they call something different. I don't know. So I don't know which wattage this one is actually, but so, but like I said, yeah, like this is my other one. This is TS100 off Amazon. I think it was like $75, something like that. So anyway, we are going to remove the wires from the motor and RS Pro so I can put all new on. Soldering is not my favorite thing to do, but it's a necessary evil in RC. It's something you should learn. Some people are amazingly good. There we go. It can definitely be an art to get the cleanest one. Macklin has it named as a simple soldering iron. Yeah, that's exactly it, because you can get these basically all the companies OEM. You know, you can get these from 100 companies overseas. All, I won't mention anything about proper PP. Travis is always here with the so yes, you know, but that's why like all those companies, they're like, oh, we came out with a new soldering iron. Oh, well, you know, you OEM'd it, which is fine for a lot of things. Like those companies aren't going to develop their own soldering iron, just like the old, you know, all of the old soldering stations that every company used to carry were all the same soldering station. It's just, it's one of those things though. Like you can, if you're buying them in a volume, you can get a deal on them and then you can make money. So that's the name of the game. And when you're selling electronics, I can understand wanting to sell a soldering iron. So someone was saying that this is the SQ01, which I definitely didn't remember. But I need to double check. I'd have to ask, I'll have to either look that up or see if they can. If this is the 65 watt or the 100 watt, because that I don't remember. Safety. How about paint a body Sunday? You know what? That's a great thing. However, the drag car body for this has already been dropped off to Moose Jaw, who I believe is already here. And I'm pretty sure that body is very orange. So I am very excited about that. What solder do you use? Silver or lead solder? This is regular rosin core solder. I don't think you can even get lead solder here in California. Pretty sure it's just banned. Just got a custom tube chassis and a 10-tube builder's kit. What should I focus on upgrading? I have shocks, tires, and electronics. You know, kind of depends on the tube chassis and the weight. The SQ001 is a 65. So there we go. So this is the slightly lower powered version, or significantly lower powered than my 100. But for my travel bag, probably be all right. No lead solder in California. That's exactly what I thought. We can't get it. We can't get the good stuff here. All right, we're going to remove that for a moment so we can pull the... These wheelie bars really are intrusive, really up in your face. Is the back of the honcho cab kind of thin, or is it just... Yeah, it's a long vertical pull, so that can really happen in Lexan bodies, especially towards the bottom of something like that. Almost 250 viewers and 7. Yes, hit the like button if you enjoy the Sunday streams. I do like I don't mind the earlier Sunday stream. We'll see how this goes, and we'll keep playing around. Sunday's a good experiment to try some different times, and I liked that we were able to get some live time slots for people who aren't necessarily in the U.S. and super. It not always convenient for my 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So remember to heat up the wire, not the solder. Best soldering tip I've ever got. Yes, and tin your tip. You need a path. You need something to help conduct the heat, yeah, kind of, from the soldering iron to the wire. So that's why pre-tinning always a good idea. All right. And the last one. And then we can get new wire and redo this whole thing. So we'll see. Oh, and yeah. So, I'm here even though I already know how to solder. Oh, this is definitely not an instructional video. This is just what I'm doing while I hope to be discussing whatever you guys are commenting on in the comments. This is not, we're not here for me to try and be the instructor on soldering, because I don't believe that I am the most, or the person you should be necessarily going to for soldering instruction. Someone gave me a tip the other day that you could actually get there's NASA has a soldering guide, and you can get certified through that. Kind of interesting. What brand soldering iron is that? It's a Squire or Squeer, something like that. It's linked in the description because I can't remember how to say it. Hey, Quack RC, thank you much. Hey man, dropping knowledge bombs today. Friday was a cool build. I've been struggling with the design of my rear cage. I'll get there. Struggling in Fusion or just in the real world trying to bend it up? So, I'm here to support the channel. Thank you. Always welcome the support. All right. So, I do have the power leads that go to the bullet plugs for my batteries that I need to remove as well. Might as well do that all at once. Imagine Josh being NASA soldering certified. You know what? I should look that up just to add to my resume of silly certifications, which I have many, especially coming from the engineering world. You can get, a certificate in so many things that nobody thought they needed. I can't remember who told me about the NASA certification thing. All right. Soldering. What Josh is doing to occupy himself while making a video that's occupying us while we do something else. The circle of life on RC Sun. Yes. Perfect. Welcome. So welcome to our new European friends. Yes, because this seems to definitely be the only stream that anybody from Europe can usually make, unless they're up at ridiculous hours in the night. Does the Rift have any upgrades coming from Vanquish? We'll see once it gets there. Until then, probably won't say. That's how that goes. You have to don't necessarily say what's coming until it's ready to be coming. So the difference between a 65 watt and a 100 watt is noticeable, I will say. But what I guess I could do is kind of flip back and forth between them. Just see what I feel is needed. Let's do that. Let's pull my TS100, which is basically the same thing, just the 100 watt. Turn it on. 150. 300. God, that's the best part about these soldering irons. I like those rear tires. These are the reactions with a quality glue job on them. My tire gluing, not as good as my soldering. Neither are professional. So if you don't understand the reason that wattage has an effect, like, yes, they can both get to 400, but the, when you've got wire and solder that are soaking up the heat, the soldering iron needs to keep pushing heat out. And if it can only push it, it's so hot, it just can't keep up, and it has to take longer and longer for it to actually add the heat into it to get everything to that molten state. But do you have a race coming up? Let's see. There's the Vegas race, which is that big King of the Streets, $30,000 pot to the winner. If they're, it's like $24,000 to the winner no matter what. But if you're running Teakin Electronics, you can get another $5,000 from Teakin and things like. So winner of an RC race could get $30K. That's pretty impressive. I'm going to that, but I'm not racing. I'm only going to film. I do not plan. More than anything, once I get this thing running, I've got the Sky RC, the GPS performance analyzer, which is nice. Beyond that, I don't really have any big intentions of driving or racing at this point. What? No breakfast blender? I think Nicole was up way before me today. So that's so if she needed a smoothie, I think she already got it. All right. So we need to replace the wire. Let's see. So I try and buy like wire in a little bit of bulk. I've got, what is this one? 12 gauge. Yeah, this is 12 gauge. But you can buy these. Not going to race? Then what's the point? To film, because I make YouTube videos like the one you happen to be watching. That's why I'm going. So, but I don't have white, which, I do have other, I'm going to use the Teakin wire that I have from another speed control. So we'll use that for the actual motor wires. Josh just likes filling up his shelves. I'll drive this, just not at that event. So the entry fee for that event is $100. Now, myself, I have a car that I haven't driven, haven't tuned, and the guys who are running these things super fast, the tuning that they're doing is extensive. And I don't know that, or I know for a fact that I haven't done any of that, and it would be a waste for me to go give them $100 to give to somebody else. But I also know that somebody needs to film. And I was specifically asked to do that by the people who were organizing the event. So why not? Ooh, I clicked off of. Sorry, there we go. Yeah, may as well blaze that Cino. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, for me, I think that would be 100% true. I will have a much better chance of making money at that event by going and filming and then getting some views off of YouTube. But I would be, even day of, that $100 that I would spend would be much better spent by, say, making side bets and trying to double or triple my money on side bets, which is my goal. I got to pay for that trip somehow, and I think that some some side bet action is where it's at. Could just give me that hundo. Yes, Alex, that's exactly right. I would have just as good a chance of getting $30,000 by giving you a random $100 bill and then waiting for you to give me $30,000 back. So there's 250 some drivers going to the event, and each had to pay $100. Yeah. Yeah, it is gonna be interesting. The gambles are the biz, dude. Yeah, honestly, I think that the side betting is going to be great fun. Now, the bigger thing is that there is, like I said, 200 and almost 60 drivers. I'm guessing that racing, I know that they think that they're going to be done between 12 and 1 in the morning. My bet is that racing won't be done until closer to 3 or 4 in the morning. That's my bet. My bet is that I'll tell you what, when I go to the track, I'm going to have everything I need for me to be there until the sun comes up the next day, filming the whole time. So, I need my helping hands. So, I don't know. I think that it could be, and I'm going to try and document. Let's see. Is it illegal for me to, no. Just trying to think of like talking about side bets in a video. I know it's like, I don't know what the legality of that is on YouTube. I think I see it on 1320 video all the time, so I can't be too worried about it. Right. Hi, Josh. Do you use lead-free solder? I do because I'm in California, and that's what you can buy here. We heard nothing about side bets. I'll have to document how much I win or lose in side bets in the video. Now, I'm also just wondering how long the video is going to have to be. Like, does anybody really want to watch an hour-long drag racing video? Like, maybe? I don't know. Because with that many I'm not going to cover every race. It'd be like, I think it's over 500 races. But 1320 is in Mexico. Oh, that's a good point, Matt Conley. Maybe you can make side bets when you're in Mexico. But we'll be in Vegas. So, can you make side bets when you're in Vegas? Colorado checking in. Is that the TS1? This is the TS100. I also have this one, which I picked up, which is the one I linked in the description. This is a 65 watt. This is my 100 watt, just kind of going back and forth between them. I picked up the 65 to go with my travel setup. So I'm kind of setting up a whole toolbox of things that I can take with me and not have to kind of split tools between one thing and the another, you know, for all of the traveling we're doing for our sea events right now. I'm just gonna re-up the tin on these solder tabs on the motor just to make sure that we've got plenty of good solder. Okay, last one. All right. Solder name? I don't know. Alpha? A roll of solder lasts me so long that I really don't really know. It's regular 60/40 rosin core. I don't even remember what size for sure, but still good to be prepped. Exactly. And I find it kind of, tools are fun. I really like tools no matter what. So let's get the solder. All right. Every once in a while you can just tell, like, that was a good joint. I like that solder joint. That felt right. Josh, we already watched your 2 to 3 hour live. That's true, but not. The one thing is that a lot of you guys do watch the live videos, which is great. And it's the reason that I like doing them, especially because people are here commonly. You end up kind of knowing the people who stick around a lot. But the average watch time of live videos is only like 20 minutes. So for an edited video, you want to try and make sure that people are going to watch, you want your average watch time to be about half the length, because that kind of gives you a good balance of people who just click on it like, oh, this is RC drag racing, I don't want to watch, and they click off. So live streams maybe 2 to 3 hours, but average watch time's 20 minutes because people are popping in, coming and going, things like that. So that's the difference. It's like a different world between live video and edited video. I obviously like the live video for a lot of reasons, but they definitely are not the same game. Think they could pull off a race a minute. That's 2 hours and 15 minutes ish for the first round. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that they could do it in a race a minute. There's no way. I mean, if you go back and watch like any of my other no prep videos, now they can't do a burnout at the line. They have to do a burnout beforehand. But just getting there, getting lined up, running, or making sure that it's the right person at the line. There's just no way it would take. Yeah, I mean, I would say that 2 minutes is going to be about the absolute fastest average you're going to be able to pull. And that is if you have everybody on their game, which, let me tell you, RC drag racers are not, it seems like. I wasted 2 hours watching flying cars. Good point. Good point. Well played. All right. A and B are done. And I touched the tire with my soldering iron. RC Dave charge up. Thanks so much. If I can help you, if I go, can I help film? I have an A6600. If you're going, then absolutely I could use the help. All the help I can get, because being one person filming there is incredibly difficult. So, yes, absolutely. I am all for it. I will I will thank you immensely in the video. That's the other thing is, for people who don't or haven't been at events with me or anything like that. Um, so I've got absolutely wasted ankles. Like it was, I was born with clubfoot, which is a common birth defect. Anyway, so I had a ton of surgeries when I was a baby, and it has actually, which means that all kinds of things that have gone on with it through my life. But if I'm on my feet for more than a couple hours or so, it my ankles are absolutely killing me. I actually I'll walk with a limp on a normal day if I've been standing a little bit too much. I don't even notice it. But after super long days like that, like I have to find a way to try and be off of my feet as much as possible. Otherwise, I literally will not be able to walk like to my car by the time that it's done. So like I'm gonna have to try and figure out what I can do to be able to kind of like position myself where I can be seated for filming as much as possible. Yeah, it's it'll be interesting, very interesting. So, but yeah, that's why if you have seen me at an event and I'm hobbling, it's just because I've been either standing up, and I do it to myself. Like I know, like at crawling events, like I push it and I just because I want to go crawl with people, I want to do whatever, and I just end up wasted by the end of the event, and I'm hobbling around and limp like. But it's either that or just sit on the couch. So you know, you know what? I'll go have a lot of fun one day, and I'll hurt really badly for the next few days, and but it'll be worth it for the you know for the thing. So, what's up, Josh? I really need to talk to you. I hate when people say we need to talk. Never say that. Can't say that to. Too bad Matt can't get over. So now that's the other thing is that this event there is like some spectator like restrictions. So if someone's going, they have to have they have to kind of be like cleared beforehand. Now if somebody's go, oh, I'm dropping frames. Sorry. Let's hope that doesn't lag too badly. Anyway, so like if you were thinking about going and you weren't already on there, then make sure that you like either let me know or let Tyler Zavaldi know who was running the event because he may be able to help. Sorry. Hope it feels like it's coming. Still dropping. It's coming back. Sorry. In the meantime, apologize. I hate the dropping frames thing. I'm not sure what's going on lately with YouTube or what. I don't. Nothing's changed on my side, but it seems like it's happening more. So I just don't like it. I'm gonna attach the. I'm gonna get the ESC attached while my frames pick back up, so that go. Get there. Okay. Looks like the stream has finally come back to normal. Anyway, just to kind of circle back for anybody who was dropping a bunch of frames during that discussion. If you are thinking about going to the race in Vegas and you're not already registered, because there was like some restrictions on people not being able to just go due to COVID restrictions and things like that. If you are thinking about going and you don't have a comp, like you don't have all that sorted out already, let me know and maybe I can help, especially if you're looking to kind of help film, because I'm like, honestly, it would be a big help if somebody was in the area for that. I noticed a couple of comments that I didn't read during that because of the lag, but talking about, do you have three cameras? Could do one at the start, half track, and I have plenty of cameras for that. However, we're talking about like this could easily be 15, 16 plus hours of racing. So just the amount of batteries that would take, the amount of memory cards that would take, the amount of time that it would take me to go from one to another to try and get those, like, to just tend to those cameras. It's not reasonable. Like there's so much of that type of stuff that goes into trying running. Like just leaving cameras rolling it's not that feasible either. Yeah. I wish that it would be that easy. And the other thing is like just stationary cameras don't always do that great. Do you run your cameras on 4S too? I have ran cameras on those things in the background. Hey, what's up, Rich? Josh, are you ever not on YouTube? you know, it's an, it's amazing. Yeah, I agree. There's quite a bit of time. you could I would be the easiest person to stalk ever. Like, I know where he's at right now. Yep, I know where he's at today too. I think that if I ever had a stalker, they would get bored quickly. They'd be like, "This is I'm sick of this." Like, you could either peer in his window or just see it in HD from my phone from my own house. Yeah, sorry about YouTube. It looks like I can see my graph of people and just dropped all of you. Jeremy Burris, thank you, sir. Did you see that Archfield Drive East Coast Challenge date has been announced, but all the campsites are gone? That doesn't surprise me. The Archfield Drive East Coast event, great event, cool little campsite or campground, Rose Park, I believe is what it was called. So doesn't surprise me at all. Great event. One that I might try and get to this year, whether or not it's to compete or just to go and hang out and film, is to be debated. But that's where's my other? We're gonna spin that around. It's there. There are gas or electric wheelchairs. Yeah, that trying to haul a wheelchair with me, like people who have to do it. That's one thing. Like for me, I can still move. I still have my mobility at times, especially if I am conscious of it and I don't overdo it myself. It's you know, people that have to do it. That's a tough one. I who knows what you know, as things go and my ankles deteriorate more and more because they're not in good shape. Like at some point, like, and replacements are not great. Yeah, it's a tough one. So, who knows? No matter what, I'm not going to just sit on the couch instead. Nicole yells at me all the time because I overdo it all the time. Even at work, I'll overdo it. And so it's and it's been that way for my whole life. Playing baseball as a kid would do it. I've met a lot of people. I had a severe clubfoot. Like, clubfoot is not uncommon. There's a lot of people who have it. I had to have lots and lots of surgeries as a kid. I was in casts until I was almost 2, I think. And so, like, when I started walking, I was walking like on the tops of my casts instead. I got nasty scars all the way up the sides of my legs. That's crazy. Now the surgeries that they do for kids are just these tiny little things. They do it all with, what is it? Not whatever I should know what it is. My brother used to sell that stuff, but like where they just use cameras and little stuff. Orthoscopic, is that correct? But yeah. But I was also super lucky because like not long before I was born, it wasn't something that was corrected all that often. It was just you're wheelchair bound. So I got pretty lucky. Fuse wheels to your bones, keep roll. There's been days where I like, you know, you end up hurting so bad after something. You're like, you know what? What if we just lop these things off? Just give me like a universal adapter at the end. I'm pretty sure I can make my own. Like, just give me some sort of SLW-esque adapter, and I'll work out my own attachments. Get my tall shoes, my jumping shoes. I can figure this out. Would braces or compression stuff help at all? I do it. I'll wear that a little bit, just because it's like the side to side motion on my feet that is the worst part of it. But in the end, it's just if I stand at all, like I can just stand in one spot, and that will do it. So. All right, so we got one more wire here. 3D appendage Sundays. You know what? If I ever make a video with appendage in the title, you guys can unsubscribe. Endoscopic, there it is. All right. I'm excited to get this cleaned up. We also have to mount I've got the Hotwire 3.0, which is the Bluetooth one, so you can tune the ESC from your phone, which is super rad. This will stay in the vehicle, just so that I can tune with Bluetooth by the phone. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I think for the actual event, I'm gonna try and get like a rolling stool tool cart type thing. So that's a good thing that I'm driving down there, so that I can pack, well, a cooler and all the other things, all the other things that I will need to to stay at that racetrack for what I'm guessing will be 18 to 20 hours. Okay. We're all attached. Now we got to do our power wires again, but we have to redo the bullet connectors that are on them. So, fill up that Gladiator bed. Not sure if I'm going to take the Gladiator or if we're just going to rent a car, something big SUV of some sort, rather than something, I don't know. Haven't decided yet. You know, someone that watches Skinny's Update is going to make a car called the Appendage. All right. I'm just happy to get this done because like this, I loved the look of this, you know, the carbon fiber chassis thing. Like I wanted it mainly because like, you know, like honestly with the DB10, I could have gone, or DR10 chassis, I could have gone plenty fast with that stock chassis without any concerns, but it's so much cooler to be able to have a carbon fiber. I'm not going to plug that sensor wire in yet because it's right there by those wires. All right, we're going to grab a length of my bulk wire just so that we okay. I'm impressed that you aren't addicted to painkillers. Yeah, I don't take any painkillers. I'll take ibuprofen before events, before, during, after, but I don't take any painkillers. Like, I've never had a prescription for them. I could, it's just I don't. That's a tough thing for a lot of people in life. That's everyone's got their battles. I'm not trying to judge any of your daily battles because we've all, you know, that's the thing with RC. It's the best escape from, you know, all of the other real life things that so many people have to deal with. Instead, we can play with little cars on our desks. Lieutenant Dan got new legs. So can you. looked in Looked into it. You know, if it wasn't for the driving part, it wouldn't be. I don't know that I would like dismiss it so as quickly as I do usually. It's like it would just make things more difficult. And I like to drive so much. Don't forget the shrink tube after you solder. Well, the good thing is that since we're doing bullet connectors, you can actually still slide the shrink tube all the way down on these. Because yes, that is the thing that we always forget, right? I've got too much lead exposed on these here, so I tinned them and I'm just going to cut them back. I'm sure you can bind a Futaba to a Gladiator. Just driving down the road. Not a terrible idea. Until you just drop your radio driving down the road. I feel like that there must be a rule about it having to be attached. You can drive your RC. That's true, and it would definitely stop me from ever being able to text and drive. Right? Like people think manuals stop you from texting and driving. What about fully manual? I damaged the tips of these flush cuts. I've got one little nick in the jaws there. I need to replace them. But you cut wires and you end up with like the 4 strands that just kind of hang out there. It's like when you shave your beard down, you end up with like, you can feel like those two, like, I missed them. Video in the future, redesigning my ankle in CAD. feel like I definitely have to be a little cautious on that one with my like the well, this one didn't work. Like that would be much more inconvenient when it was attached to you. So let's. All right. Hot. And, oh, missed that bottom part. Where's Travis Gilmore yelling at me about PPE? Desolder and redo that. Okay. $6 million Josh. We can make him better. Could you build that but better? Pushing the brake with your tongue is a tasty part of driving foot free. Are there not a lot of shock mounting positions in that rear tower? There's 3 on each side. So I don't know if that's not a lot to you or is a lot. I think that it's, Travis is just observing now. I mean, I don't know. It seems like enough for me, for sure. But that's whatever you want to call it. All right, we need to do the bullet plugs still. Where's my... Oh, and the other battery. Little solder jig. Mr. Jig, it's called. Lag, anyone? Or just... doesn't look like we're dropping anything, so maybe refresh your feed if you're having issues. And I add a little bit more solder to the underside. Oh yeah, we were gonna switch back and forth between irons, and I definitely didn't do that. I will say that I like the 100 watt better. My TS100. The power is noticeable. I think that, I mean, honestly, for my travel box, I'm not mad about it. But it'll get the job done just fine. But if you're searching for one, I would say get that 100 watt. Because it is so nice. It jig looks like a 1, 2, 3. Kinda. Oh, well, I mean, 1, 2, 3. But if you mean it's a metal block with a bunch of holes in it, I would agree. It is fairly similar. BT, thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day to you and Nicole. I will let her know. Can't say that I spoiled her much with the with Valentine's Day gifts, but tomorrow, Nicole and I will have been together 10 years. 10 years. Can you imagine how lucky she is? I tell her every day. All right. Done and doneer. Nicole spending Valentine's Day with her true loves, the cats. So, yeah. How well did your hand fit under this? I'm gonna have to bring in a substitute hand because it definitely sits too low. She deserves a trophy. I mean, I don't disagree with you there. My wife tells me how lucky I am all the time. Yeah, Matt Conley, Nicole's put up with some stuff. Yeah, but does it blend? Where's my X-Acto knife? Did I bring it out already? It is not where I put it. There it is. Okay, I was gonna say, it's not in its spot. I've been married 35 years, 70G says. Dang. Congratulations. Same lady whole time? Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see. My parents have been married. My parents have been married 30. They'll be married 38 years. Wait. No, they'll be married 39 years this year in April. Crazy. You've been Alex says you've been married longer than I've been alive. You've been married. No, I would have been 2 years old. My parents be 39 years this year. 40 years around the corner. Gonna have to do something. Now I did such a good job soldering these bullet connectors. This see if I can get these to come. Married 3 years now. There you go. Got me Brian Sherwood 32 years. Still. Got some lifers in here. Good work. Been married 13 years, Travis Collins says, but it feels like 35. I mean, we can jest. We can all jest. It's all amazing that they put up with us. 27 years, Gray Matter Fab. 11 years in June, Matt Conley. Josh will build his parents his or her dancing riders. 11 years, Ghost Rider. Never been married. Hey, you know what? That's a one in itself. 25 years since high school. Nice. Jest as long as she's not in the room. Yeah, right? I should make sure that I don't call. Don't say those things if she can hear and I can read it. 13 years BT. Congrats. 22 years on May 1st. Bob A. Right. Now we need second marriage 2 years. James, not gonna lie, I also had a trainer wife, but it made me make a better decision the second time. Sometimes you got to do that. Some people are smarter than me the first time. A lot of people are smarter than me. All right. Yeah, something around the 13-year mark makes it feel like 25. Oh, man. James E., what kind of solder do you use? Lead-free stuff sucks. It does suck. That's what I have to use, though, because I'm in California and it's all you can buy here. I'm out of coffee. 4.5 years with a 4-year-old son. That's an interesting clarification you felt like making, Chongy. Now, Nicole and I dated for like 5+ years before we got married. So there was a lot of she had to go through a lot of trials before, it's like, all right, we can make this happen. I'm going to use a longer piece of heat shrink. I got this assorted heat shrink set. Actually, I think I got 2 of them. And they're great. They were cheap. They're all cut. It's all different lengths. super handy thing to have in the toolbox. So much better than like trying to find like the little pieces of heat shrink that came with whatever ESC at the time. And you get one of those, they're like less than $10. Worth it. And I still prefer a lighter over a heat gun. I have heat guns. I never like it. On this episode of Harley Designs Married Camp, we discuss soldering tips. Dropping frames. You're right. It's so annoying. I don't understand what is going on. All right, I'm going to get this bullet plug removed. We'll go. While the frames pick up, we'll get this part prepped. There we go. Okay. Get this side ready. "27 years together, 25 years married." See, so, well, I think what would we have? 30. Do we have 35 years as the longest in here today? It's pretty good. I mean, it's really good. I think I'm gonna be forwarded to Wednesday Takeover soon. Man, I hate when it boots people, it drops them. Ugh. We'll see. We got a couple of things that Matt and I are both looking to check to see if we can make any changes. I can drop my upload rate to see if it helps, but it's not the thing is like it's not my connection. So that's what makes it weird. It's like it's YouTube. So is someone streaming Netflix? Yeah, someone is always streaming something here. We don't do cable, so it's we're a streaming only household. Come on. Right. Pinned up. We're all good to go. We're done with soldering. Now I just booted again. Sorry, guys. That's annoying, but everything's picked back up. So we're done with that. And we're actually done with soldering. So now I'm going to mount the stuff that I still needed to mount, get everything cleaned up for that. And Nicole, stop using the Wi-Fi. We'll just focus on some questions and everything for the last 50 minutes or so of this stream. Hopefully it doesn't keep kicking you guys. And we're going to see what this... I am looking forward to seeing what Moose Jaw has done with this body when it's all done. What do I do with the lighter? That would be the better question. Did I put it back? No. Are you sitting on it? Well, that's just silly. Did I put it back? I'm just like, it's probably like in view in the video and I can't see it. Moose Jaw says he's painting a detail already. I don't understand how that's possible. On your left. It's not this. That's the... Oh, it's standing up. It was in view. God damn it. Oh my God. All right. Double check that I did those right. A, B, C. Yes, that is in there. Our bullet plugs are there. We can connect our sensor cable now. And oh, you know what? Is this the receiver I had for it? I think that is. So, what did Moose Jaw say? How much is Dale C gonna pay me to put Thick Boy on it? Oh my God. Is this the weirdest game of Where's Waldo I've ever played? You don't do well with early. You know what? That is not untrue, Brian. What is it? 1 to steer, 2 to clear. So, got that. We need to... I do still have the stock associated steering servo in here. For now, we're rocking it. Where are we going to put... We should put the receiver on this side, and we'll put the Bluetooth on that side. So I'm going to route this wire underneath. Underneath the top deck, not underneath. But. I don't want it to get... I don't want it to hit the battery, so we're going to run it on the outside. 1 to turn, 2 to burn. Yeah, 1 to steer, 2 to clear was always the the one that we always said to remember which one is throttle and steering in your receiver. Yeah, 1 to turn, 2 to burn. I like that one too. All right. One thing I don't like is how long those wires are. Should we shorten them? It is 11:15 here, so I do believe we have time. We could shorten those up. Let's see. Do I have... I've got some servo ends here. Travis Gilmore says twist them. That shorten them with a zip tie. Like Travis Gilmore saying, the twist method isn't bad. I don't mind that. It would be easier than shortening all this. That's just stuff them now. I'm either... Do we want to do the twist method? The twist method doesn't look bad. I think it looks cool too. It does, I agree. And if you ever end up using it for something else, it's nice not to have short wires, and it's easier. So, all right, we'll do the twist method. I prefer coil twists. Yeah, some people say. If this, I mean, we'll try it for now. You can also give up. That works too. Pro tip, zip tie them to the drive shaft. Oh, I like it. Where did you learn this trick? I just saw a Rift in person yesterday. They are big. They dwarf a Capra. Yes, they do. Yes, they absolutely dwarf a Capra. That is for sure. Scale it time. Craig Banks, that's not a bad idea. I've got my my scales here. We could definitely do that. Do the twist method, then heat up with a lighter. Yeah, to get it kind of to get it secure. We can, this is just an RTR servo. I really don't care. And I also know that it's not going to hurt it. We'll try it. just to get them to, let's see what this does, see how it works. We're not going to do that on the Tekin RS because it's a Tekin RS, but an RTR servo, I'm fine with. Let's see how it, we'll see how it holds. Heat gun better for this than flame. Be careful and good luck. Yeah, heat gun, I would agree. This would be a better place for it, but at the same time, RTR servo. So I'm not as concerned. Gorilla Glue is for your hair. Gorilla Glue is not for your hair. You did not hear that on my stream. Would you recommend that soldering iron? I've been considering buying that same one. So if I was buying between the two, so I had this, which is the 65 watt, and this is the 100 watt. If you're picking up one, I would definitely go with a 100 watt. It's definitely got, the extra power is worth the headroom. The 65 watt's gonna go in my travel case. The 100 watt I'm gonna keep here in the shop. I have a soldering station and all, but these things are so handy that I like them. So I would absolutely recommend this, you know, and this is fine for if you're, you know, lighter soldering. This one, it took a little too long. It wasn't my favorite. The 100 watt though still works great. I really like it, so. All right, so there you go. Nice and coiled. And yeah, it's retained well. It retained its coil look sufficiently. So we are going to use a couple of zip ties to keep them where they need. What brand on the soldering iron? The 100 I have is a, I don't know, something I got off Amazon quite a while ago. Just search TS100 soldering iron. They're really all the same. The 65 watt, I linked to where I got it in the description below. But the 100 watt, I do not have linked. Or do I? Did I link in Amazon? I think maybe I did link the 100 watt in the Amazon link in the description below. I think I was ahead of that. So there you go. I love my Weller soldering station. Yep, I've got, well, mine's a track power. But they're great. Soldering stations are super nice. But at the same time, these little things are so handy that I never bust out my soldering station anymore. All right. So, I'm telling you, that's so there's the coil, but we got to get the receiver in place and we'll figure out where to put it. But it coiled well. Take a wheelie bar to the nose. Amazon looks like power is 65 watt. FYI, just checked. They TS100 is the Amazon. Maybe there's both. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't remember 100%. Like I said, I put it in there. The chassis is, I do think the chassis looks great. The only thing I did do is that the wheelie bar that Undercover Drag Wings sells is made for the DR10 rear motor guard and wheelie bar mount, which is different. So I ended up modeling up my own mounts to work with this, I think it's a Drag Race Concepts aluminum rear motor guard or whatever it's called. And I milled my own CNC Delrin and carbon fiber rear mounts for it. So this thing is it's like a rock. It's nuts. So good. So, if you have mine wasn't a DR10 to start with though, it was a DB10. So that's why I ended up having to make my own. Craig Banks, getting ready for 10 inches of snow. Man, everybody in the Midwest has just been getting hammered with snow. Anyone seen any reviews or anything on the new Holmes Hobby Torquemaster winch? I haven't seen any like official reviews on it yet. I mean, I talked to the guys from TGH every once in a while, and they had sent me some videos showing that thing just cranking through. It was pretty impressive. So we're gonna put that, or I could stand it up. Oh, it's actually perfect. We're gonna do that. I guess I could make like a fancy little mount for this thing and everything. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe not right now, but maybe later. Oh, gotcha. So the Amazon one says power is 65, so you may have to actually, go to a 100, find a 100 watt. Because I'm pretty sure my blue one there is the 100. Yeah, it is. I've searched it. Josh, where did you get the shrink tube kit? I got that on Amazon as well. I think I just searched for like a sorted heat shrink kit or something like that. I'm pretty sure it was less than $10. I need to get a link to, or a list together of all the random stuff in my toolbox. I've got actually a bunch of that stuff, like photos taken and ready to do a video of. And if prep for that side of the video stuff takes forever, but it gets there. I've got 15 videos that are getting prepped. It's just how long it takes. And you know how I said I wasn't going to use the lighter method? I'm going to use the lighter method. It worked just fine. Yes. Heat gun would have been better, safer, but it's fine. It's fine. We could always replace it if something really went bad. All right. That worked as well. For those asking, this is the heat shrink tubing kit that I've got. It's just got a ton of different sizes from, like this is really small, like the size of a hex driver, all the way up to, well, actually there's ones that are way smaller than that even. These are like, I don't even know how you would say what, they're just really tiny. So tiny that I don't think I've ever used any in RC. It wouldn't fit over a single servo wire lead. And then it goes all the way up to ones that are like these that are flattened, but would go over like the size of a AA battery maybe. Like it's cheap, but it's just got all of the sizes in there in those short lengths, and it works fine. So, all right. Now let's plug ESC in. Oh. Okay, go like that. Okay, so little double-sided tape, and then we'll have that mounted. My industrial size roll of 3M tape. It's shrinking for sure. I get the body shop size. It's for like putting on molding on vehicles. Peter Ruiz, I got the Ultra and I'm looking to see how I can get better steering angle. Would you happen to get any recommendation for that? So you're only going to be able to get so much angle out of it. It does have the little steering stops in the arm. You technically can remove that and get yourself another degree or two, but you do run the possibility of stressing the joints because they'll max themselves out. Beyond that, like if you just want more functional, you want to reduce the radius more than the angle, throw an overdrive set in there, like the 21% overdrive, and that will reduce your turning radius. Okay. Go. Okay, got that mounted. God, dropping frames again. All right. Buffeting. Travis go. All right, we've got that. You know what we could do? I'm going to throw some heat shrink tubing over the pair of the power leads. There we go. Come on. All right. Just to keep these power leads a little bit more together. Rather than flopping all over the chassis. Burnout test on the new mat. You know, I think that I'm going to have to decline. But, understandable request. Okay. So just added a strap there from it. We got the receiver and servo leads cleaned up enough, put on the side. Receiver is mounted in a stand-up fashion right there. Now, we do technically have an on-off switch still. I haven't removed that. Normally I would. I know the guys in some of the... I'm surprised how many of the drag guys still keep them. I'm going to keep it for now. We'll see. I used to use a lighter, but a $10 Harbor Freight. I have a nice heat gun. I just don't like... I've got a heat gun. I just don't like getting it out. Heat guns are loud. It's like, eh. So that is why I don't use the heat gun. All right. Hey, what's up, Rollins? Did you check out Burn Peak Express? I did. I watched the video where they went crawling in the park or whatever. I haven't watched a bunch of them. I just saw I watched through that one. That was about it. Pleco Nation, thank you much, sir. Much appreciated. They don't get water on the trail trucks, so the switch probably lasts long. That is true. I mean, that's one thing with switches on trail trucks is that they go bad so easily. So I always just eliminate them. But what we could have done with that before I did all that was just, I could have coiled it too, but. Hey, Scott O'Blander, thank you much. Thanks for the stream. Putting a new ESC in the bomber while I listen to watch. Which one are you putting in? Motor and ESC or just ESC? I really need to get my bomber out and go drive it. They're too much fun. Where do you get that big roll of servo tape? Well, this is 3M double-sided tape. I don't know where I got this one specifically. This one is the extreme mounting tape. It's just better than servo tape. That it comes off easier. It just holds up better in general. I like it much more than like regular RC servo tape. I think I got that one at like O'Reilly's or something like that. Handhold torch works great. And a little butane torch would work as well. Let's see. I'll try and put this right here. Yep, that'll work. In oval racing, your car is impounded for a half hour or more, so a switch is needed. Is there an impound for drag race? For drags? There is at times. I've seen them do impounds before the races, after tech, before the first race, things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Half the time I'm just there to film, and I don't always 100% follow like all of that stuff because I'll kind of walk around and do other things. Scott's putting it in Torque Master BRXL. There you go. Nice ESC. Staying brushed in the bomber. Must be crawling a little bit with it. He got that good commercial double-sided. Lowe's carries it as well. There you go. I get my 3M tape from the auto parts store. Yeah, I think like that's where I have in the past as well, and it lasts for so long that it's easy to get there. It's not cheap. Especially when you get, because when this roll started, it was like, I don't know, like this. Like, it was a big roll. Like this is made for, like I said, mounting trim on the outside of your car. Like a lot of that trim is just held on with this double-sided tape, really. So so they'll go through big, long strips of it at a time. That's why you want the good stuff. But the other thing is it just releases better. You can get it and you can pull it off. It's just, servo tape's such nasty crap. It just sticks, it stays on there. It's hard to get off no matter what. I hate it. It sticks well a lot of times, but still. So, all right, so the wiring is done. So we've got the, the leads are coiled. They're okay, It's not the cleanest thing in the world, at least, but it's on there, tucked in. On-off switch is right underneath. The coil of it is kind of just hanging out underneath. It's held in place just fine. We do need to secure this sensor wire, and I'll probably put one on those motor leads. Scales. I'll absolutely pull it. Let me grab those right now. We'll put this on the scale, Craig. I'll put the scales here on the desk so I don't forget. Tidy up a little bit of this with a zip tie. It's just I'm going to secure the sensor wire so I don't. So it never gets sucked into anything. And we'll wrap all the motor leads in as well. Come on, there we go. Tina Louise, is the 2700 Polar Pro V2 stubby too much power for a TRX4 Sport? Oh no, absolutely not. It's actually it's a great motor for that vehicle. Even the non-stubby, the regular, is a great choice. The 2700 Polar Pro V2 is probably one of my favorite motors right now. grabbing a pick. So in a TRX4 Sport, I think it's probably one of the perfect choices. And then I pulled it all the way through. Dang it. It's such a tight spot in there. There we go. Got it. Finally. Nice. Going to pair it with a Mamba X. Yeah. 2700 Polar Pro V2 and a Mamba X is a solid choice. The stubby is good. I personally prefer the regular, but the stubby is still a great. I think the stubby is what I have in my box right next to me right now, actually. Yeah. Okay. It's pulled in. All right, I think we're pretty much done with this part of it, so we can bust out the scales like Craig Banks was asking for. So the reason I like the 2700 Polar Pro V2 is because it's also a really good 4S motor. So it's got a lot of versatility to it. It's good on 3S, it's great on 4S. It's just a killer setup. All right, I'm going to get some of this stuff out of my way. So this is the AC adapter for the new one. I'll put that there. Yes, Moose Jaw does have the body for this. I was gonna I had mentioned like I'm just gonna throw something on here like whatever, and then it looked so good at the end of the stream that I was just like, oh, I really should get a decent paint job. Like I know I'm gonna wreck it, but I'm also not gonna race it that much. So like, why not make it look good while I can? And then also have giant rolls of Velcro strapping. Cut to length your own Velcro this way. There you go. You can make it exactly the length you need. Oh, I missed a coil. There we go. Do you know where I could get a rod for a sway bar? I've heard people using piano wire, but I'm not sure. Yeah, piano wire or spring steel. That's the, you can get those from McMaster Car, McMaster.com, other places as well. I think even Lowe's used to have some of it. So, all right, put all that there. Giant rolls of Velcro are worth it. Absolutely. This one was actually given to me by Fast Eddie. I don't know the name of it or where, but man, it's so good. It's one of those ones like once I eat through this, I will buy a larger roll because it's worth every bit of it. Scales. That's what I was like, what am I doing? Oh, wait. Sorry. We have one last thing to do. We have the Bluetooth. The Bluetooth adapter. I'm glad whoever mentioned it with saying the coil method. It was the right call because once we did all the other ones, it was just like what I was going to shorten just the servo. The other ones I was just going to coil or they're just going to Velcro it or zip tie anyway. It's like it was the right suggestion. I don't remember who said it, but thank you. All right, we get this one on there and mounted, and then this car will be completely ready to go. Then once the body shows up from Moose Jaw. Josh, do you add green slime to the shocks on the VS410? It depends if I don't like tear down and then redo. So it's only if I've been building them from scratch or doing a rebuild. So, Josh, can you recommend a brushed motor turn count for a three gear turn 2.2 on straight axle? Stabby Josh, is it a 2.2 or is it a 1.9? Size tires. Which way does it work in KV? Low numbers, slow, high, the faster? Yes. So in KV numbers, what it means is it's if it's say 2000, that means it does 2000 revolutions per volt of the battery. So say you have a 11 volt battery, 3S, 11 volt, even though, at peak voltage, it's 12.4. But so you would take 2000 times 11. So 22,000 RPMs is what that motor would do at peak voltage. If it was 3,000, you'd have 33,000 RPMs. So that's how that works. All right. Do we want to stand this up or lay it? We're going to stand it up. Is it full width? It is full width. I can do a full width of the roll. Okay. What weight shock oil are you using front and rear? On this car, I'd have to go back. I mentioned it in the first video I did on this car. I do not remember what it is. And I just went with the suggestion that I got from John Schultz at the time. So John Schultz with Associated. So, because otherwise I would have been completely guessing on what the right setup would have been. So Gerald saying, Tekin RX4 and 3500 kV Polar Pro V2 on 3S in my VS410 Pro. I asked John and he said 4S would be fine on 3500, but I haven't tried that yet. So you can do it. It's a lot. I run 4S on my 3100 kV and I really like it, but it's a lot of power. So that 2700 kV has been kind of my sweet spot for 4S. My 3100, still a lot of fun, but I do love that 2700. Okay, put all that stuff away, and now we've got the scales. So this is the Sky RC scale setup, corner balance scales. I would switch to my overhead for this, but honestly, my overhead is just giving me tons of issues right now. So how do you keep your workspace so neat? My desk is a mess every time I work on my cars. Honestly, mine would be too, but since it's for video, every time I'm done with it, I have to clean it, get it cleaned back off, get the project put away for the next one. Like I have to do that because otherwise in video it would just be a disaster. You're holding the iron wrong. Haven't you seen the stock photo? I almost used that photo of the lady holding the soldering iron wrong. I almost used that for the thumbnail. Right. And so whoops. Got our scales on the corners. Oh, I probably need to. We're going to zero it with everything off. Okay, so currently we've got we're perfect 50-50 left to right. We'll see if I can. So from what you can see, so this is left to right. So we've got perfect 50-50 balance, and then we've got 68% rear bias and 32% front bias, which is great. The one thing that you can do is once you get, I am going to switch to threaded shock bodies on this so that I can adjust things a little bit better. But it is nice that it's sitting at 50-50 currently, at least. 32-68, I'm not really sure how that, if that's good or not, if that's a preferred setup, what the weight bias exactly these guys are going for. But my total weight for the car is 1,953 grams without a body, of course, without a body. So gives you a little bit of info on the car. Like I said, right now it's ready to run. Other than the important style portion. So there you go. Not too bad. I'm glad that it came out 50-50. I mean, granted, it should have. Like, the only difference is I've got some more wire running on that side, and we have a receiver versus a hot wire. But, the motor is a little offset, whatever. Still worked out well. Power off. I don't know that I don't know if this scale's totally worth it for normal stuff. I bought it because it was kind of fun, and I got a little bit of a deal on it at the time. So I was like, I'm buying it. I need it. So let's get through. We're gonna go another 10 minutes on this. I'm just gonna focus on comments. I've pretty much done with everything else. So we're gonna go through comments until we hit noon my time. Hey, Gray Matterfad, thank you very much. Always love the streams. Appreciate you joining in. Very much appreciated. These the early stream on Sunday, I think, is a keeper for now. We're gonna try and stay with that. So Dominic, Josh, I'm working on making my own custom wheelie bar for my drag rustler. I'm going to use 1/16 aluminum for the side plates that are going to be cut out using a CNC router. Any recommendations? 1/6 aluminum is a tricky one for these cars because things can get sideways, and aluminum will be 1/16 might be a little thin. My suggestion would be just brace it well between them. This is a 10-inch wheelie bar, so if that gives you an idea, 10 inches of total length on this. I'm using the Traxxas wheelie bar wheels in the back. So there you go. Brace it well. I run... Oh, you guys are having some side conversations. Let's see. what do we got going on here? I like the the fusion system. I liked it. I just wish that it had more power. 1800 kV was slow for me, and it was low on power. So I like the convenience, though. It's so nice to have it packaged just so tight. Can't wait to get my drag car out. Just got back from snowshoeing. I need the snow to melt and get warmer. Whew, Westmaid, that is, that's. I'm not sad that I don't have to deal with the cold as much anymore. I love the Midwest. I miss the Midwest. I don't miss winter. Wait, I was supposed to make this look good, Moose Jaw said. Don't worry, it will look better than whatever I was going to do. And I have no concerns that it will still look very good. Brian, Josh, I have one of your 3 cells you left in the bill. Oh, God. Thanks, Brian. I must have put it in there to test the battery tray and forgot to put it out. Or take it out. Nice. Any sites to recommend for converting a Rustler 2-wheel drive to no prep, wheels, tires, etc.? Let's see. I think to make a Rustler no prep, you just need to do the / LCG chassis, and then you use all the Rustler arms and everything. And then wheels, tires, I mean, they're just basic no prep short course wheels with the drag tires. Those are pretty simple and straightforward. Fusion is super smooth, slow speed. It is smooth. It's just low on power. You're supposed to paint thick. Alex fired. Thoughts on shortening servo leads via crimping new connections instead of wrapping wires in circles. Gummy, that was actually what I was going to do, was shorten them, because I do have the crimpers and the new connections and all that. And that's what I was going to think about doing on this. And I've done it before on crawler builds, but this was simpler, faster. So I went that route. But I do shorten leads on occasion. I like the way that looks. And in things where I know that they're going to be in there forever, I'll go that way. Non-drag related, that's fine. What good 100mm shocks that can be set up for droop on a crawler? Traxxas big bores, probably the way to go. If you're going to go droop. I don't like droop suspension at all, but Traxxas big bores are a great 4-inch shock. So 100mm is 4 inches basically. So Traxxas / rear big bores, the aluminum body shocks are a good shock. Let's see. What do we got? So we got a few more minutes left. You guys can get any of your questions in before we wrap this up. And then I've got all kinds of stuff to go. Get back and do. It's going to be a busy day still. So appreciate you guys joining on Sundays. It is obviously these shows do better than STL Sunday, no matter how much I enjoyed that. And I was like, it's fine. Mine is going to be 12-inch and have 4 braces. I'm using a 2-wheel drive Rustler that I convert. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one has 5. This is 10-inch, has 5 braces. I would say more than 4 braces would be a good idea. So Chronic has one. Who makes the Chronic shocks? Is that the Pitbull ones? Those were a very nice shock as well. I agree. But I wouldn't run those in. They're such a nice shock. I wouldn't run those in droop. They're a good shock. So how fast is it? So fast. I actually don't know. I have not driven the new car yet because we just did the wiring. So until then, it didn't. Is Nicole's Valentine's gift you doing this so she can chill? Well, partially that, because then I have to leave and go do some work. So I won't even be here for the rest of the day. So she'll have alone time. Can you do a video on the Red Cat Everest Gen 7 Sport for upgrades? I did one way back when, because they sent me one. They're like, all the SCX 10.1 upgrades will work. And then I got it and I did a video and I'm like, none of these upgrades work. They're like, oh, well, I guess we didn't know that. Like, okay. So no, there won't be any more Gen 7 stuff for sure. Amazon doesn't carry the 100-watt TS100. What? You can't find it at all on there? That is super surprising. Bummer. Really enjoying these early Sunday streams. For once, I'm able to watch live. Yeah, and I think that's for that reason alone. People who are in Europe and things like that, it hits at a time that's at least slightly reasonable. But you know, so yeah, and if you can only find that 65 watt version, it's still a great soldering iron. Like it still works really well. And for trap, it's just how is the wing designed? How is the wing designed for this body? I think it should be able to have it knocked out pretty. Weren't you going to send me a picture of that other one though, Moose Jaw? Because I was going to look at possibly making sure it was similar to that. How many bombers in the collection right now? I have my one really nice bomber, which is up on top, and then I've got one completely stock one at the office, like 100% bone stock, RTR. No 100 watt. No, maybe these. Interesting. I think this is my TS 100. I can't. Let's see. I've rubbed off what the text on the side says. 12 to 24 volt DC, and I don't know. Do you like to vent your tires? If so, how? I vent my tires. TS 100 is not 100 watt. It's just the name. Okay, so maybe my regular TS 100 is a 65 as well. Maybe they're both 65s. That one just felt like it had more power. I don't know. Maybe it was the tip that I was using. I always vent my tires. It crawlers 100% of the time, unless I forget. That's the only reason. Most of the time, I forget to actually do it with a leather punch because that's how I would prefer to. But most of the time, I just do it with a pair of Lexan scissors, and I cut an 1/8 hole basically on the top and bottom, 180 degrees apart. Just do 2 holes on each tire, but I always vent my tires. So it's absolutely TS 100 according to Amazon is 65 watt. Well, there you go. I thought the one that I chose was the one that I bought. So there you go. Why vent your tires? So venting your tires, we're not running tires like full-size cars. They're different they're different makeup. The weight of our vehicles is very different than a full-size. So to make the tires work properly, it's about having a proper foam. Air pressure in your tire is not the way to run a RC tire. So venting your tires using a proper foam setup is how you'll get the best performance. This has been something that we've tested for 10 plus years in comp crawling. Like everyone's like, oh no, this works better. It's like, well, if you look at any comp crawler, you will see that in the end, if you want the best performance, you had to run a vented tire with proper foams. It's just the way that it works. Now, if you want to sacrifice performance a little bit for the convenience of not getting water in your tire, whole different thing, totally understandable. And that's just a sacrifice to make to not have wet, soggy foams. Totally understandable, totally reasonable. Those DRC rigs do look nice. I'm using their 0F bulkhead, shock tower, and bumpers. This isn't a DRC. This is a undercover drag wings Renegade chassis. So I do have some DRC parts on it, like the rear shock tower with the anti-roll bar and the rear motor guard. And then I've got Exotech steering rack and front bulkhead. So, Josh, what is the spacing between the braces on your wheelie bar? It is approximately 45 millimeters, then 55 millimeters, 55 millimeters. So it kind of varies around 45 to 55 millimeters at a time. What is the best all-around foams? I don't know that there's a such thing as an all-around foam, but I mean, if I was going to generalize as much in a 1.9 Little Novas, closed cell inner and a medium outer. If I was going to say all around, because normally I'll do like soft outer in the front, medium outer in the rear, or medium outer in the front and a firm outer in the rear. things like that. So where's the car going to sit on the shelf? I haven't decided yet exactly what shelf. I'm thinking over here after Brandon's Ripper Lead. I have some decisions to make. You know, with the wheelie bar, though, it can't really sit on the first shelf because it'll poke the one on the neck. It's tough. It's a tough decision. The side to side on the scale is the side to side on the scale is actually not side to side. It is corner to corner. What? The side to side on the scale is actually not side to side. It is corner to corner. Front right and rear left. I see. Interesting. Front right, rear left. Huh. I did not ever notice that. That is super interesting. Front left, rear right. I guess it's, wow, that is, I didn't notice that. I never knew that. And that's interesting to read now. Mike Quinn, thank you very much. How about two-stage foams? That's what, yeah, like the little Nova foams, or a closed cell inner and then an open cell outer. That's what I almost always run. The single stage closed cell foams are amazing if you're anywhere near water. They are amazing if you're near water. They won't absorb water because they're a closed cell. Also, I've been running them in my VS410 Pro lately. I've been running a 2-stage in the front and a single stage in the rear. They're firmer, but they allow for a little bit different setup. I really like it. On the OG Rock Trucks, what were all the set screws on the axle tubes for? It depended. There was some of the tubes used different trusses. They were for possible accessories. Just depended. He needs new shelves in another room. That is true. So. That's it. I run dual stage valves 1.9 in my 2.2 rip saws, 1.55 singles, and some of my C1. Scales are set for oval racing, thus the crisscross. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I just never noticed it. Not something I just thought that the way that I looked and just didn't even think about it. We're going to wrap this thing up here, so I'll read these last couple and then we'll go from there. Not a crawler or drag question, but I'm rebuilding the shocks on my SMT10 and it keeps sucking the bladder into the shock body. Any suggestions? Let's see. Put the cap on the top with the shock shaft at mid-travel maybe. Otherwise, you're going to need to keep more air in the shock because it's just, you're creating too much of a negative pressure and it's sucking it down. So don't screw the cap on with the piston all the way up, but try mid-travel. If it still does it, you're going to have to find that point there. But that's what you're doing, is causing a negative pressure. Lunchtime, Harley working on RC. Harley, at this point, I'm just going to leave your channel on while I go to bed. RC cars would look good on your living room walls. Yeah, I think Nicole won't let that one. Wait, I thought this was a cat chat with Nicole. She gives 1 day a week. She will be on the stream. That's it. All right. I am done for the day. I've got stuff to go get work done. So, as always, I appreciate all of you guys jumping on. I want to thank some people as well. Hold on just a second. Let me scroll over there. Brian Sherwood, Quack RC, RC Dave Charged Up, Jeremy Burris, BT, Pleco Nation, Scott O'Blander, Gray Matter Fab, and is it going to let me? I think that was the last one. We're going to double check because it's not letting me scroll any further. So yes, that was the last one. Appreciate it as always. Thank you guys for joining. We will see you Scale News Update, Wednesday Live Takeover, all the rest of them. See you guys next time.